Everyone always talks about how important dry fire is, but I never really realized that till I started doing it myself. I mean, honestly, I'd say probably about 80% of my progress so far has been due to dry fire. I don't have a ton of time, so I can't get out and shoot a ton, but dry fire gives me a ton of trigger time, helps me work on my grip and my draw. So I wanted to bring this to you guys unedited. I'm just a regular person. I'm by no means an expert, but I'm getting better every day. The other advantage of dry fire is it gets you familiar with all your gear, not just your gun. You're going to see here I mess up my draw a ton. This is a relatively new belt rig for me. I've probably only shot 500-600 rounds through it. Oh, that's a lie. I've shot like 800 rounds through it. But I'm still getting used to how it sits and how I need to position it. So dry fire is a great way to figure out where you want to put it on your body, get that natural body mechanics so your hand hits the pistol every time. Watch the front of the pistol right as I break the shot here. You're going to see it dips just a little. And then when you watch the next shot here, you're going to see that dip is a little bit less. I still jerk a little, but I get it better. Another purpose of dry fire is it gives you an opportunity to see where you're messing up and make those little corrections. You just have to be aware of what's going on with your body when you're doing it, and you can really isolate a lot of those little flinches and twitches out before you get out and start shooting live ammo. On this next dry fire, my grip felt a little bit funny, so I just took a look at it, made a mental note, and tried to correct it for the next time. Since on the previous dry fire that grip did feel a little bit funny, I just set back to the fundamentals, go through the motions nice and slow, make sure I have my grip good, and squeeze off that shot. It's also good to not assume that your target's always going to be right in front of you. I like to throw in just a couple dry fires where I'm looking at a target that's not right in front of me and adjust accordingly. It really isolates what issues you're having, especially the little ones. You're going to see them magnified when you're shooting at something that's not necessarily in line with your natural body mechanics. I don't usually record this, so ignore the fact that I keep looking at the camera like an idiot. Really, I'm just hurting myself. That dry fire was totally useless, wasn't even looking at my sights. Speaking of not looking at my sights, this was actually an idea that Lucas Buckkin from T-Rex Arms gave me from one of his videos. And the idea is to blindfold yourself and kind of get an idea where your natural point of aim is. Where does your body want you to aim when you draw that pistol? So one thing I should mention is when I'm pulling the trigger, I don't pull the trigger till I see my red dot or I see my irons. This session was all red dot, but as soon as I see my red dot cross that target, I'm gonna go ahead and, squeeze that shot off. The fact that I kept hitting my weapon light showed me that I still have a lot of work to do on my grip. Like I said, I don't consider myself an expert, just getting a little bit better every day. And recording this is actually really useful. It lets me watch the mistakes I'm making. I catch a lot of them while I'm shooting, but it's still good to see it. So I found out that when I'm turning to my strong side and drawing, I'm hitting my weapon light a lot. That probably means I'm over swinging my hand or something like that, but it just gives me something to see. So like on that last one, I actually just noticed that my thumb was too low down on the slide, so I was tripping the switch. Recording has its uses. So I tried to overcorrect on this next one for my thumb, and I did just that. I overcorrected. You're going to see my thumb come all the way up. Like an idiot, I still broke the shot. For some idiotic reason, the strong side turn was really getting to me and I kept hitting that weapon light. Just gonna have to practice more and work on my grip when I'm turning that way. My support hand has a lot further to travel than it normally does. I move to my opposite side of the body instead of the center. So just something I'll have to work on. So at this point, I worked on a couple of reloads. They're not something I have a ton of experience with, so I need to get some more time in. The harder part about dry firing with reloads is in order to get the slide to go back over the magazine, you have to have something in it. Obviously, you don't want to use live ammo, so this is where I load up those snap caps that I showed you earlier in the video. They're great. They're like 10 to 15 bucks for nice ones. You can get cheap plastic ones offline for just a couple dollars, but they really are a great training tool. So I already confirmed that my gun was empty earlier on in the video, but it is very, very important that you make sure you don't have any live ammo in your magazines, especially if they're your range mags. I all know we leave one or two in. So here I'm just triple checking that my mags are just snap caps. And there's that stupid weapon light again. Another great thing about dry fire is gives you a chance to practice all that cool range tricks that you don't want to look like an idiot when you do it at the range. So yeah, it's hard to catch a round when you shoot left-handed. There's a couple different schools of thought that I've heard of as far as reloading goes. Both of them involve you keeping your pistol up in your workspace inside of your field of view. Some people say keep your eye on the target, and you can learn to do it just through body mechanics and muscle memory. I personally have found I've had better luck in my very limited experience with taking my eyes off the target just for a second. I can still see the target in the background. But just focusing on that mag weld to make sure I get a clean reload. You're gonna notice every time I mess up in this, I take my eyes off the mag weld. I know it isn't actually stress, but in order to keep myself from getting totally out of shape, sometimes I like to do a little exercise while I dry fire. So in this case, the basic drill, if you will, is 15 to 20 push-ups, come to a standing position, draw, do a reload, or engage a target, do a reload, and focus on my sights again. So yeah, enjoy that in case you're wondering what the breathing was.